if we were to substitute that, it says, what makes an army woman? Wait a minute now. Is this like a be-all-you-can-be advertisement? How do you think that fits?
Well,
when you have somebody's army, what is it? It's their
strong.
It's their might.
Their might.
Strength. Their power.
Rawr.
Rawr, yeah. So the word for virtuous is a little bit unusual. It's translated a lot of different ways, and it carries with it the thought of a force of some kind or other, a great wealth or a force. So when you say what makes a virtuous woman, the question really is what makes a woman who has great force, power, and influence. That's really what we're talking about. So Aim, would you like to have power and influence?
Of course.
And, we'll take a look at how the Scriptures describe a woman of such magnitude. First of all, in Proverbs 31:10, let's go down to that section. First of all, let's read that. That was our theme Scripture. Let's read that again, and then let's get into what it's talking about here. 31:10.
Who can find a virtuous woman, for her price is far above rubies?
Okay, that's the theme Scripture, and it says her price is far above rubies. I would say that she is priceless. Mm-hmm. When something is priceless, what does that mean? Microphone, please.
There's no worth that can be put on it, no price.
No dollar value.
No dollar value.
Okay, so that's good. So she's priceless. So let's take a look at just a few scriptures that give us a sense of pricelessness.
Proverbs 12:4. A virtuous woman is a crown to her husband, but she that maketh ashamed is as rottenness as in his bones.
Whoa, so so a virtuous woman is a crown to her husband. Now that would be a good thing.
Yes.
Okay? But if she makes him ashamed, she's like rottenness to his bones. That would be a bad thing.
Yes.
Nobody wants to have rotten bones.
No.
So you want to have a virtuous woman versus one who would make you ashamed. How about another proverb scripture?
Proverbs 3:15. She is more precious than rubies, and all the things thou canst desire are not to be compared unto her.
Again, there's a scripture that gives us a sense of this pricelessness. And one more from Ruth.
Ruth 3:11. And now, my daughter, fear not. I will do to these all that thou requirest. For all the city of my people doth know that thou art a virtuous woman.
So we've got a few scriptures that give us a sense of great value here in looking at the woman, the picture of what womanhood ought to be in the eyes of King Solomon, the writer of the book of Proverbs. So, Fred, actually, why don't we go into our break at this point, and once we come back, we'll continue our discussion.
This is Christian Questions on 980 WSUB. Don't go away. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Christian Questions on 980 WSUB with Jonathan and Rick. Filling in for Jonathan today are Rick's two beautiful, intelligent daughters, Amy and Emily. Our
humble,
topic,
too.
Of course. Our topic this morning is what makes a virtuous woman.
And to be a part of our program, call 443-9782, 443-WSUB. So we're talking about being a virtuous woman, and I would venture to say that this is something that doesn't get talked about too often in our daily lives. I mean, ladies, do you hear about discussions on being a virtuous woman in your everyday life, generally?
No.
No. Perhaps we should. Let's talk about some of the qualities of this virtuous woman. We talked about her being priceless. Let's talk about, first of all, Proverbs 31:11 and 12. Let's read those, Aim.
The heart of her husband doth safely trust in her, so that he shall have no need of spoil. She will do him good and not evil all the days of her life. Okay,
so key point on those verses is that the heart of her husband does safely trust in her. And the concept here is that of, obviously, trustworthiness. The word safely trust actually does mean to trust, it's very, very, or to have confidence. I know the King James version is difficult, but the idea is having trust in. If you guys go to the next page, there's some scriptures that use the same word, and I think it's important that we realize the level of the trust that's shown in this virtuous woman. So, next couple of scriptures here.
2 Kings 18:5-6. Hezekiah trusted in the Lord of God, the God of Israel. There was no one like him among all the kings of Judah, either before him or after him. He held fast to the Lord and did not cease to follow him. He kept the commands of the Lord had given to Moses.
Okay, and read one of those Psalm scriptures.
Psalms 9:10. And they that know thy name will put their trust in thee, for thou, Lord, hast not forsaken them that seek thee.
Okay, now, who is being trusted in these scriptures? Is it just the guy down the street?
No, it's the Lord.
Okay. Same word is used for the trust that the husband has in this virtuous woman. So that's a pretty high level of trust. The kind of trust we have in God is the same kind of trust that one would have in a woman of this caliber. Let's talk about the idea of trustworthiness for a few minutes. Well, first of all, when you hear trustworthy, as she pushes the microphone toward her sister, when you hear the word trustworthy, what do you think of?
Someone that, you can trust. Someone that you can put your faith in without a question.
All right, so someone you can put your faith in without a question. Gina has a thought? Wow, that'd be cool. She just doesn't want to say the thought.
She's shaking her head no.
So what else? What else is there to trustworthiness? If in your mind, when you think about who is trustworthy to you?
To me personally?
Yes. Who would you say is trustworthy?
My close friends, my parents, my sisters.
Oh, okay. Good thing you put her in there. That would have been bad. Okay, so there are a few select people that are worthy of that kind of trust, that level of confidence. Now, is the idea of being trustworthy, is that something that's commonly spoken about, talked about, taught in your daily school routine?
No.
Why?
Because people just don't value it anymore.
What happened to being trustworthy? I mean, why don't people value it?
They just don't think it's that important in society.
Okay.
Society nowadays, they are so wrapped up in themselves that, being trustworthy isn't being self-centered. You have to consider everyone else when you're a trustworthy person. It's someone you can go to who will be there for you no matter what, and nowadays it's like, well, if, it doesn't benefit me, then I'm really not going to care that much because I'm self-centered like that.
Oh, okay. Do you ever get that way?
No.
Really?
Yeah. Sure.
Okay, well, and that's an important point, because part of what we're going to find as we go through the definitions and the character qualities of this virtuous woman is that these qualities are not things that we generally talk about, and generally, for whatever reason, we just don't put value into them. And it's unfortunate that we don't put value into them, because these things are really what makes up, these are the ingredients for creating a good relationship, for being a valuable person to the people around you. So trustworthiness is a really, really good place to start. Again, and folks, if you have a thought, give us a call at 443-9782, 443-WSUB. So let's take a look at 1 Peter chapter 3, verses 1 to 7.
Wives, in the same way, accept the authority of your husbands, so that even if some of them do not obey the word, they may be won over without a word by their wives' conduct. When they see the purity and reverence of your lives, do not adorn yourselves outwardly by braiding your hair and by wearing gold ornaments or fine clothing. Rather, let your adornment be the inner self with the lasting beauty of a gentle and quiet spirit, which is very precious in God's sight. It was in this way long ago that the holy women who hoped in God used to adorn themselves by accepting the authority of their husbands. Thus Sarah obeyed Abraham and called him Lord.